Sherry had to raise 7 figures in sponsorships. So her AI search ran overnight, opening LinkedIn, logging into it, clicking through connections like a human would. Sherry founded Peak Money and brought AI Engineer, the world's largest AI technical conference, to Singapore. In this episode, she shows us how the search is run in real time, the exact prompts she used, the exact messages she used, and you can see the AI open real sessions, browsing through the lists and executing the tasks one by one. The reply rate was around 10 to 15%. This involved no personalization and no technical efforts. She just had ruthless clarity about what she wants.
So, Sherry, you told me that you have a browser automation for your LinkedIn outreach. So, is this for your business, Peak Money, or?
Oh, it's actually not for peak money. So I do many things. As I learned about Gautam as well, he's a man of a few passions. So I, along with running, startup, I actually ran a conference in Singapore called AI Engineer. So it's the world's largest technical conference for AI practitioners that started in SF. We started the chapter in Singapore that happened in May. And I need to reach out to speakers and sponsors for the conference. Just to give you a sense, we had to raise essentially like 7 figures in sponsorship revenue to run the conference. And we don't have a sales team because a bunch of us are doing full-time jobs in other spaces. So I had to automate. So I used some tools that people typically use for I guess it's more of like what people use Claude Cowork or coding for, but I used it for outreach and worked pretty well.
Like, what did you end up trying before that? Like, before trying to automate, how did you go about it?
Yeah, I mean, you just like copy paste manually and sit there and press send, right? Or I guess back in the day when I had to do this more, I did actually have a virtual assistant that I hired to go do it. I think they cost $7 to $10 an hour, something crazy, but they don't always do things right, and you have to remind them of the specific kind of message. But yeah, I mean, for a while I was doing it manually myself, which is not super efficient.
So you'd go to ChatGPT, copy the messages, paste it, and just go about it. Is that how you went about it?
It's not even that deep because the messages are so simple. I straight up was like, "Hi, this is Sherry. I'm organizing the first AI engineer in Singapore. I like what your company is doing. Would love to have a presence." It doesn't really need AI. It's like a very straightforward message. So I didn't really use the AI to write the message. I used it more so actually for automating the process of sending the message to hundreds of people without getting detected by all the bots, right? Because I think people who try to reverse engineer browser-based stuff or try to create an API into LinkedIn, they get blocked. But I mean, I basically found a way, I guess, around it.
Wouldn't personalization help improve the conversion?
I have done this for a long time and I've been on the receiving end for a lot of these messages. The only personalization I want you to get right is say my name right and say my company right. If I'm reaching out to you for the same reasons, it doesn't need to be personalized. Like, I think this company, if I'm just like, I read your blog post about, this wafer thin chips, whatever. I mean, the person's like, no way you're reading the blog post of like all these people. I know what you're doing. So it comes off as a little disingenuous from my experience. My response rates are fine because a lot of the times people just look at my LinkedIn profile. They see that, okay, she's a founder, she's got following, she seems legitimate, and they respond. So I lean with my cachet and who I am and my footprint. And then I just get straight to the point. That's really it.
Okay.
I know people disagree with me. There's entire businesses built on like we use AI to personalize messages. I'm like, I don't need that. I mean, I get what I need get done by just automating the process of it. But the message is like, read it in 30 seconds.
No, this makes sense because the energy is already coming across as very authentic. And with the footprint that you have, I'm sure people are replying. But how did you choose who to reach out to? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, so I actually automated this as well. So essentially, I wanted to find companies that had already sponsored conferences that are similar. So I went online. I use something called Manus, actually, which is another tool to do wide research. It went across NVIDIA GTC's conference list of sponsors. It went actually to all the AI engineers of the past, a bunch of other conferences to basically produce a list of 500 companies that I could reach out to. I then fed this list into the automation I was doing. This is before the sending of the messages. I basically asked, at the time I was using Manus, I was asking it to look for people who have the title of growth, business development manager, developer relations, founder for startups, because they respond, and then just pull those list of affiliates. So there was an enriched list of people to reach out to. And that's when I used automation to essentially add first degree connections and reach out. So that's how I did it. It's pretty it's pretty straightforward if you think about it. It's what people used to spend tons and tons of time in hiring a sales team to effectively do for the conference business. Let's see if I can share my Chrome tab. Codex isn't the only tool you can use for browser automation. Manus is what I was using before. It's just a lot more expensive to use for these kind of operations. But the concept is similar, right? If you go here, there's like a bunch of things you can ask it to do. If you want to start out with getting it to gather a list of companies or leads within it, you can simply just say, hey, for my upcoming AI engineer conference, I want a list of, 100 companies that are in I use voice, the inference, robotics, coding agent space that have sponsored major conferences within the last 1 year, like NVIDIA, GTC, other AI engineers, etc. And I can ask it to do this. So sometimes you can ask it to do wide research, so it takes more time, but we don't have, 2 hours to do this. So I'm going to just let it see what it can cook here. Let's just let it say go. So what's cool is Manus has something called its own computer, which if you pop up, you can actually see what it's trying to do right now. So it's looking up all these exhibitors. I gave it an example just so it's not like randomly guessing. But there's a lot of companies that did sponsorships. So you can see, hey, here's its thought process, etc. Have you guys used this before?
Manus, no.
Manus, I have maybe 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
So you're saying that it's exceptionally better when it comes to researching leads?
It's good. I mean, I think that there's multiple tools that can do this today. I think 6 months ago, no, this is the best. But I mean, you can use a lot of other tools now. I like using Codex for it because it has great browser control within the app itself. So I have moved on to something else, but you can still get that, I guess, same result here. So actually what's cool, if you look at this, it actually went to, I probably should have specified, let's see, within the last 1 year. Okay, I guess 2024. See, again, you want to sometimes like steer it a little bit. I think 2024 is still fine, but it's pulling up somewhat of an older list. But what's cool is, hey, they pulled up a conference that I didn't put down. So it went on and searched. But yeah, I mean, this is the first part of the process. These things like used to take a long time, but you can really use like any kind of tools to come up with a lead list at this stage. I think the cooler thing is really the browser automation piece, but like once you actually have the list, how to get there.
How long does it usually take? Like when you do a heavy query, how long? What have you noticed?
Let's see. How long did this one take? Top AI robotic speakers. I mean, oh, you know what? You should definitely put this on max intelligence. It's probably why
That
mine
makes
thought it was
sense.
2024. Yeah, silly, right? Always put it on max intelligence. Let's see. Sometimes it'll tell you how long it took. I think let me see if I can ask. How long did this take you? I know it's been a while. Let's see. I'm gonna put on max. Okay, cool. It's already there. Yeah, I mean, it really is. Resetting computer, please wait a while. It sometimes takes a while.
What do you mean when you say that it has a computer of its own? Like, you mean a
Yeah,
server? So, like, it does the
yeah,
dedicated server in the cloud? Is that what?
yeah, yeah. So actually, I'm trying to explain this in maybe a more accessible way. So the reason why using AI within tools like Manus as well as Codex is powerful is because your your agent has its own computer. So if you're just using ChatGPT in the browser, it can't necessarily run tests. It can't run a website. It can't do a whole bunch of things because it doesn't actually have a computer in front of it. So think of it like a little virtual character who has its own desktop or laptop and it's typing and it's actually doing things, right? So when Manus has its own computer, it could actually run commands. It can actually like open up a browser. It could do all these things. So that's what I mean by a computer. Now, I think
Makes sense.
to a layman, it's like we think of computer as the physical objects, but the laptop, the physical laptops are just wrapping around the actual concept of running the things that are actually running on your machine.
Yeah, and
Makes sense.
but for LinkedIn specifically, they're very strict on people trying to automate a bunch of stuff within LinkedIn,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
how do you work around that?
yeah. So okay, cool. You can actually see part of the process here. This is what I did. So this is like the middle part of the process that I had where I already had the companies and then I would pull the names of people who were at the companies that were in the contacts. Actually, what I did was I prioritized people that I was either first degree connections with or I had high mutuals because that's a high degree of response or conversion, much higher than personalized messages is just having mutual connections really. So this was part of the process. Now, let's see. Yeah, I mean, you can see like this was just yeah. I'll just show you my prompt. It's really nothing crazy, but I said, "Okay, can you use my LinkedIn to add these connections?" Only personalization I had was company. I don't think I even used their name now that I'm looking at this. Test this out with a few contacts, and I pasted in a bunch of the companies. And it started out with a search and then yeah, I just had to send tests, right? And just make sure like I think somewhere along this prompt, if I scroll down, I probably told it like, please don't like do it really, really fast. But because it's using browser, it's not like an API where you could do things really like you can send 100 connection requests at once. It's painfully slow. Like I was sitting here watching it. I wish I had timestamps here, but like sometimes it'll take like 5 minutes to like add a connection request. It's like trying to pass CAPTCHA, all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it works. It's just slow. So that's why I actually ran a lot of it overnight. I'll just be like, okay, just go to work. I'm just gonna go sleep, right? It's fine. So that's how you
So,
get around it. You have to you simulate a real human scrolling and browsing through.
and so
Yeah.
you gave it login access to your LinkedIn, I guess.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Here, you can see this. Yeah, I mean, poor Francesca does not know that this was not me who sent the message. It was my
Got it.
AI. And you can see actually all these. Actually, no, Bicky is a friend, but other people, other people were sent from Manus. So you can actually see all of this. Um,
The fact that it takes so long is because it's exactly mimicking the human interaction,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and it's doing it one by one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but it does not get stuck. It just runs through the entire list. So which means that you can actually leave it overnight, and you will have the job done by the morning.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's super persistent. I mean, as you can see, like there's no like I went and started doing other stuff, right? Like I
Got
wasn't
it.
like, yeah, I don't know who Manu is, but he got my message apparently. But yeah, it's like this is how you can do this uh without having to manually click all of this. And I haven't found any other tool that like automates to this level. You just have to like mimic a human. That's like how you just make yourself indistinguishable from what an AI is able to do.
Doesn't it run
Yeah.
into session limits and or like run out of credits? How does that work?
Yeah, you give it a lot of credits, man.
Got it.
Let's see. How much should I spend? Let's see how much Sherry spent. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I spent a crap load. I mean, look, I think some of these things. Oh, okay. Just jump to a different one. Some of these things probably took like $20 to do, but I was like, look, if I'm trying to make like $1 million plus, I'll pay $20 to like automate this. It's fine. So, yeah, you could just literally see how much I was spending. So I just put money towards it because I was like, look, it's still better than like having to. It's like, I guess if you go back to the whole virtual assistant example, I used to
Right.
have that was 2 hours of time from somebody. They're certainly not going to be like as persistent and like grinding through all this stuff. It's a grind, right? But AI
Right.
will stop at nothing to finish it.
Effectively, what's also happening is that it's not like you have to see your profile, you have like 35,000 followers, 30,000 followers. That's a lot of followers. But even for somebody with, let's say, 1,000 connections or 500 connections, if they have a profile done very well, they can use this tool, run the same process, and they should get decent hit rates because as long as the profile makes sense, it's a good message, it's going to land.
Yes, absolutely. I think being really relevant is important,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like I was reaching out to the people that had a high likelihood of being at a company that wants to sponsor in a role that had a high likelihood of like it's their job to receive inbounds from these things, right? So
Right.
I think at one point I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I think my like conversion rate was like 10 to 15% or something like that. Because it's no personalization. It was just like, I know exactly why you're trying to talk to me. It only takes me 30 seconds to understand why you're talking to me. So either they're like, okay, we'll take it on email, or they'll say, okay, cool, like not interested, which is also great. You want to know early on. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. You can do this with any other tools. Like Manus is just what I could pull up on Chrome, but I would say like try it out on multiple tools. It all kind of works pretty well.
So yeah, relevance over personalization, I guess. Yeah. One other thing. Was there any mishap in terms of any messages sent out?
Yeah, I think there was one, but I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, I think it was the wrong name, which is why I took name out of the personalization. I just said hi. I think someone got the wrong name, and it was a little embarrassing. I clarified, and I was like, "Yeah, sorry about it," but it happens. Yeah, I move on, and then I just stopped using the name in the title in the message too, and it made zero difference because like people are really busy. Like I think that's a thing that people don't realize is like these little touches, like just the things that have signal, right? So if someone's like hi Sherry or hi, like I probably won't know a difference because I'm like, how do I say it? It's like AI works with tokens. It's not actual letters, right? It's like little semantic chunks. I also read in chunks. Like I'm not reading a whole message. I'll just see if someone's reaching out, I'll see go to market, this much an hour. We have these customers. It costs this much. And I'll probably be like, well, you cost too much. And I know those are not your customers because I'm friends with them. So I will ignore the message. But it takes me like not long to process. You can say all the hi Sherry's, like I read your blog post, like it won't matter. I just look for the exact keywords. And I think that's how a lot of people are browsing too. So I just build it for people who are just browsing the important parts of the message.
And if you were to advise someone on how to go about doing this, what would be the key thing that you would want people to keep in mind?
I think the simplest thing is that has nothing to do with AI. Just know what you want, right? Like if you want to waste
Yeah.
a lot of money trying to find unrelevant people to reach out to, like it doesn't matter if you're using AI or not. Like it's just an inefficient process, right? Like I was really clear about my ideal customer profile. Like people who will talk about sponsorships at these AI companies who have sponsored in the last 1 year. So they have budget, right? I wasn't like, it was super clear, but that's not AI. That's just being clear about what you want, right? If you're a startup, right, and your customers are SMEs that are between 1 to 10 million in revenue in traditional industries that are not super high tech, but would benefit hugely margins wise from automation, right? I mean, you probably should be a bit more clear than that. Like, okay, what would the industries be that benefit from automation? Maybe that's one pass. And then you like get the industries and then you like go and reach out. Like yeah, that's all it is, right? Just be really, really clear about what you want. AI is just a mirror of your own clear thinking. So if your thinking is not clear, AI is going to not really give you what you want. And then you are both in this unhappy doom loop, right? But if you're clear about what you want, then you'll get great stuff back.
That's actually great. That's a great way to put it, right? But I feel you're underselling yourself when you say that it's all about just clarity in your mind, because here is what I see, right? You knew exactly what you wanted. You took effort. I mean, clarity was already there in your mind, but you also find the right tool that does the job the hard way. Like there is no shortcuts taken. It's actually mimicking a human. So you figured out the right tool. Then you had massive bias for action. You did not overthink. Got the mess, like settled for a high. Did not try to like overly sugarcoat it. Got the message across. Got the computer to send the messages, and you have responses. So yeah, I think this is very replicable by somebody, even somebody who does not have a lot of followers.
You don't need a lot of followers. You don't need to be like AI native to do this. I mean, it's really just persistence, to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm like, I'll stop at nothing to get something done, right? Like, if that's really what it is. I put a deposit down for a venue. The total cost of the venue was almost $500,000. I had to make sure the conference was going to be successful. I had no choice, right? Like, so, like, I think that's the thing. You just need agency. And I just happen to put myself in situations as a founder where, like, I have no choice but to succeed, right? I don't have government funding to run the conference. I don't have last year's cash flow. It had to be successful. So then you just stop at nothing to make sure it's successful. Then what do? You make sure that you reach out to anyone in the universe who possibly could sponsor for the conference and find a way to get in front of them. And this is the answer I got to.
Nice. This is great. Thank you so much for sharing this, Sherry.
Yeah, no, of course.